Hey, what's up guys? This is Ben. This is our first video kind of stepping out in the community and showing you guys kind of what we do and who we connect with in the city. And I'm here with Shannon Francis at Four Winds American Indian Council, and she's going to tell us kind of about all the work they do here. So Shannon, what do you do? Who are you, and what is Four Winds?
I am Hopi and Navajo. My introduction is I'm Towering House Clan, born for bred, running into the Water Clan. I come from 12 generations of seed keepers from the Hopi area. I'm the great granddaughter of the last leader, Lolama, of our community. And Four Winds has been around for over 35 years. Used to be Living Waters Church. And now we're property rich, cash poor. So on this shoestring budget, we've done a lot of amazing things. We want to follow the indigenous principles of our ancestors, minimizing our carbon footprint, being mindful. You know, mindfulness is one of the things that we hold a priority here at Four Winds, and we consider this a liberated zone. Native peoples can come here and be who they are. They're free to be who they are. In the middle of a gentrified, neighborhood.
Right.
So we're zero waste. We're transitioning as a zero waste facility, and part of that is to compost, recycle, do reusable as much as possible. Everything that comes out of the building goes into the garden, all the compost and compostable things. So every event, if we have like an event of like 150 people, we can get a lot of compost out of that. And so we also teach our community, about that, about contributing and everybody helping, so that only a few people aren't really like left washing dishes and things. So we've had over, I don't know how many, couple tons of compost.
Wow. So it's so cool because it's like, besides all the work that you're doing, it's also like educating people that are just coming into the building. Like this is what we do.
Right.
This is how we like carry ourselves. So when you're going to be here, like kind of leading by example for sure, with then teaching the compost and making sure that people take the next step, but also showing it's really not that difficult. It's not that hard, right? To then compost.
Yeah, most people feel inconvenienced because they don't want to do it, but we're like, hey, if you want to rent the building, it's very cheap, but you have to do this, and you have to learn about this, and that we remind them these are indigenous principles. These are something that it's our responsibility to continue that of our ancestors. If we want clean water, if we want clean air, if we want good soil, these are the things that we have to practice. So people are starting to change. It takes about 2 to 3 years for people to really start looking at composting as a sustainable way in growing food. Like some tribes will say, well, my tribe did, never farmed, or they never gardened or anything like that. And we're like, well, now we have to be more innovative. We have to modify our skills to what is happening with climate change. We have to work with Mother Earth, not fight Mother Earth, not fight climate change. We have to encourage her. That means building flourishing ecosystems. That means growing, planting trees, planting as much as we can for our pollinators, for all the insects. So we're doing this. It's more of an extension and helping people connect to the natural world. We all have to be connected in some way, because even when we talk to little kids, most kids have no idea that food comes from the garden. It doesn't come from King Soopers. They think it comes from King Soopers.
Right. Well, I think what's really amazing about it, especially just for like our community, is proving that it can be done. Proving it can be done in the urban setting, because we are in an urban setting, and there's so many natives within the city, and proving that like this can be done, and it can be done right here. It doesn't have to be done in a rural area. It doesn't have to be done away from here. You can do it right here. You can do it at your home. But also this being a resource for that. So with that, then with everything that's grown, I guess, can you give us examples of what you grow, and then where does that food then go? So we started with a few sunflowers here that we took from the Indian Center. We started with some corn seed that we grew from the Indian Center, and that didn't do well here. So we started looking at other seeds, and even though the Indian Center is a few miles away, the soil is completely different from the Indian Center. The second year, we grew more corn, we grew more squash, we started the Hopi amaranth. We only had 3 plants, and from that we got a little bit of seed. For me, knowing that Hopi amaranth
my people grew it for a very long time, that it kind of fell to the wayside because it's so labor intensive. Like 20 hours of seed, like massaging the seed, was about a pound. So that jar there that she's bringing is 20 hours of amaranth seed, of Hopi amaranth seed. And it's, so I don't know how the machines do that these days.
Yeah.
But this took my mom and I 20 hours
Oh
of
my gosh.
of massaging seed out of the heads, and they give off greens, and then at the end they produce grain, and then in the black seeds are what you can grow, and you can grow those as microgreens too.
Oh really? Wow.
And they fight cancer, diabetes, lower cholesterol, lower high blood pressure. They do amazing things as a powerful little indigenous superfood seed.
Amazing.
Yep.
So beyond that, then once you have, you have your seeds, but then you also have all your vegetables, everything that you're then growing. I know you put things back into Four Winds, but where else do you then provide this food out to within the community?
So we started with our own talking circle that the Good Feather leads, which is Lakota Way Healing. And so we started introducing the Hopi amaranth greens and the purslane. There's other things that grow out here that are considered noxious weeds, but they're also medicinal and they're also a superfood. So we started introducing that to Lakota Way Healing. And so it's opening up our community to different perspective on gathering and harvesting food in the city.
Right.
In terms of any disasters that might happen, just gathering things that other people don't even think about when they're walking by.
I was gonna say, that's one of my favorite things. I mean, I love a lot of things about this, but out front, when you walk by, there is food available to eat, and no one has any idea.
Right, people
we're out there like eating off leaves and stuff. Yeah,
most people think that the goosefoot are weeds, and they're noxious weeds. But the one we're growing looks like a weed, but it's a superfood. It's a wild quinoa.
Yeah.
And so everybody walks by it and they're like, why don't you pull these weeds? I'm like, they're not weeds. It's food. Everything out there is food except the crabgrass. But everything out there is food.
Yeah.
Last year we gave out a couple pounds of squash. We gave out some purslane. We gave out a lot of Hopi amaranth greens. And we didn't have much corn. It's been really challenging for that. But this year, I think we want to focus on produce, but we want to focus more on seed inventory too. So we want to always harvest at least half of what we grow, and then the rest will go to seed.
Wow. When you look at the background, you see all these buildings and things like that. You don't realize, like, you have a true, like, farm. It's not just a little garden. I mean, it's really like a kind of a thriving farm right here in the community. So it's such a neat thing, and I laugh about this because we always say, like, it's the true farm to table. Like the indigenous diet, the indigenous ingredients, like, is truly like the first farm to table. And now that's like a hip, cool trend, but bringing indigenous ingredients back into the community is incredibly important.